The last biggest chunk of grade for the class is going to come from exams. So we will be doing testing on campus in person. We'll use a classroom close to the lab. It's the same place we'll go for extra time. I can't like announce it because it's not technically part of the lab, but part of our class, but I can't register it. I can't book it till after the semester starts. But it'll be in the chemistry classroom. For format of the test, we'll talk more about it once we get closer to the test. There will be a review for each test. You get 3 bonus points on each test score. That'll be available to you. And here are the dates of the exams: February 11th, March 18th. That is immediately after spring break, and then April 15th and May 6th for the final. So we've got our chapters covered that we're looking for there. And again, I do want to note this one is immediately after spring break. So the Wednesday, well, week 8 is before spring break will happen. We'll come back and we'll have the test right there. No labs or anything like that in between them. The final is going to be cumulative. You're going to need to take it. It's part of your grade. It's not optional. The final, again, is going to be May 6th at 11 a.m. It's going to be a Wednesday on campus. It will be cumulative. So it'll cover the entire class. Your final exam can replace your lowest test score. This is one of the reasons I don't do exam makeups for 1, 2, 3, because if you miss one of those, you could just use your exam score. I am putting some caveats on it this time. 1, you need to have done 2 of the 3 exams. So if you're missing multiple exams, I'm not going to be replacing those. And if you get a 0 on one of the tests due to academic dishonesty, the final exam is not going to replace it. So this is more, the purpose of this is if people are missing tests for legitimate reasons, you can replace it. And then the other big thing is if you take all the tests, did you learn from your mistakes, right? Did test 1, you took it and it's like, oof, I am not preparing for these correctly. So then you do better on test 2 and test 3 and the final. We can replace that first exam grade because it's not going that well. Or exam 1 goes well, exam 2, yeesh, don't like that material. Exam 3, we turn it around. And then in the final exam, we figure out how equilibrium works. And so we get an okay grade on exam. In the final exam, we can replace that second exam. That's the purpose of this replacement. So when you're, if you're kind of not, these are kind of examples where it's not really how it's supposed to function. So we're not going to do replacements on those. In addition to exams, we're going to have participation quizzes. I started this last semester and I'm really happy with how it's worked. So this will be just 20 minutes at the start of lab. We'll still have a lab experiment on these days, and it's going to only cover topics that the participation questions covered for that. So on January 28th, I think that's like the 3rd week of class, if I'm not mistaken, we'll do the chapter 10 participation quiz. And so chapter 10 has like 2 sets of videos with participation questions. So there's like, I think like 7 participation questions. And so the questions on the quiz will cover those 7 ideas, not all of them, but it'll be limited to those. The goal of this is to provide a little more assessment for you. It's for you and me, for your grade, that it's like an assignment that's like more serious than participations, which are completion, but also not as extreme as the exams. There was kind of this big gap. Students would do participation questions where you're just like filling out whatever, and then you take an exam. It's like super important. So the idea is like almost like a practice or like a dress rehearsal for the test. I will give these back to you graded before you take the test. So you get some feedback on that. Now, test 1 is about chapters 10, 11, and 12, and we're only doing a participation quiz on chapter 10. So it's only going to be a part of it, but it's the idea you kind of get a sense of the vibes of the test, the format of the test, and like a lower stakes than when you come to actually do the test. And otherwise, that's it for testing. There's nothing to look at on Blackboard. Yeah, there will be stuff I'll post on Blackboard as we get closer to these. There'll be reminders and stuff. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Otherwise, that's it for assignments. There's just a couple more kind of cleanup videos. I'll see you in the next one.